Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, my name is Demigod Shmurda here. Hello and welcome back to another video and welcome back to another episode of Arrowverse Analysis. The general opinion surrounding Felicity Smoke is that in seasons 1 through 3, she's an alright and inoffensive addition to the team. Season 4 completely ruins her, and from season 5 onward, the damage has already been done. People don't talk positively about this character, and they haven't for many years. And in a way, I understand why. When Arrow Season 4 rolled around, the fanbase suddenly exploded with a massive group of rabid Tumblr fangirls that photoshopped Emily Bett Rickards' face onto photos of Stephen Amell's wife. And it was fucking gross. It was not a good time to be an Arrow fan. Things only took a turn for the worse when Arrow decided to take Felicity from love interest side character to having a larger role in the season, and making her the co-lead alongside Oliver. And while I think that could have worked conceptually, I can't deny that it shot Arrow Season 4 in the foot and left a permanent stain on the series. But that's not the era of Felicity I think anybody wants to focus on or revisit. So how about we shift the conversation back to Arrow's early seasons, the alright but inoffensive side character era. Admittedly, Felicity doesn't have the pull that characters like Dig and Sarah have. For all intents and purposes, she's an original character created for the series. And while Sarah is as well, she's the series stand-in for the Green Arrow's most famous love interest, the Black Canary. During the early seasons, Felicity is just the computer girl. She has no other role in the series other than being a mouthpiece for the plot and being the girl in the chair. So what happens when an episode rolls around and really gives her something to chew on? What happens when the bubbly computer geek side character has to take the reins of the episode's A-plot? Well, if you're Arrow, more specifically Arrow at the height of their power in seasons 1 and 2, it turns out that that episode has potential to be one of the best episodes of the season. One thing the Arrowverse has always excelled at is making episodes that highlight their side characters. Well, almost always. Think Legends of Tomorrow's Here I Go Again, The Flash's The Elongated Night Rises, or Stargirl's Summer School Chapter 7. So today is the day we change the narrative around early Arrow's Felicity for good, because this is the episode that made Felicity go from inoffensive to irreplaceable. If this is your first episode and you're wondering how my rating system works, there's a detailed description down below, along with a link to all my other episodes of Overanalysis, but I encourage you to watch this one first. I'm sure you'll still enjoy it. With that out of the way, let's return to the Overanalysis. Nick Kopus returns once again to direct Time of Death, which first aired on February 26th, 2014. When some hired guns steal a gadget that can open any bank vault on Earth, Oliver and company have to find the brains of the operation. Meanwhile, Quentin convinces Laurel to have a family dinner to bring the Lance family closer together, which, unsurprisingly, doesn't go as planned. They're robbing Cord Industries, okay. William Talkman, they chose it on his pill bottle.
Maintain a pace of 1.3 meters per second.
They're really going all in on the whole clock/timing imagery.
Stop! You said to wait. On the open?
They even show right here in this shot that he's got a couple watches on. They're really leaning into the whole clock aesthetic with him. He had a pendulum clock. It was swinging back and forth in the one shot. He's naming precise amounts of time, too. Right here is the Bratva tattoo, there's the dragon tattoo, and there's the Constantine tattoo. You can see Sarah's smiling. They're having fun doing this. I guess that makes Sarah an official member of Team Arrow now, and you know what? I'm down. I'm good with it. Because they totally earned her being here. They gradually introduced her.
She's bleeding.
Oh yeah, no, it is up there. They put at least a little something. A little something, because there's an indent in her hairline here that looks a little red if you squint at it.
It's not deep.
Good, I can't take any more scars.
Looks like they kept at least some of her scars in this shot, though. At least this major one.
Mortar round?
Yeah, IED to protect a province of Afghanistan. Good eye.
I know my wounds.
I've never been hit by a grenade.
All those scars, you've never been hit by a grenade?
Arrow, knife. A lot of bullets, no grenades.
I love seeing them compare scars, dude. Because, like, especially they have to go through all of the effort to do makeup work on all of them to put the scars on, so I like the show acknowledging that. And since it's a big thing in this episode with Felicity, I like the acknowledgement that our characters have taken battle damage and there is actually lasting impact. Makes them feel a lot more human and a lot less just like they exist just for the show or just like super people that can survive anything. And obviously they are super people and they are able to survive pretty much anything, but still, it makes them feel like they've actually taken battle damage, because they have. Interestingly, though, Dig doesn't have his scars that he has in Time of Death that he does in, like, earlier episodes. I guess because keeping track of Oliver's scars is complicated enough. I wish that they'd done it on Dig, too. Here's a better shot of Sarah's scars. There's this one here. There's two here. There's this one here. Or at least this one looks more like a burn wound or a bruise than a scar. Maybe that's where she was branded when she joined the League. It's in a pretty similar spot to where Oliver is branded.
I have a scar in my mouth. I had my wisdom teeth removed when I was 16. 3 stitches. They were really badly impacted.
You're still cute.
When you come back from the dead, you get a party. It's the Queen family tradition.
I don't know how well that's gonna work with the Lance family tradition of holding grudges forever. Maybe we should keep what's going on between you and me, between us.
Oh, that must suck for Felicity to see.
Iva has 8 guards on deck at all times, all armed.
How are we gonna get close enough to board the ship?
Maybe we build a raft.
It'll take us weeks to find the timber. We don't have weeks.
I've been on this island for 264 days. All I have is weeks.
Shut up.
You don't just stick up for me, Olive.
What? No, both of you shut up.
I love that little line, like, Oliver... Because Sarah realizes that Oliver is protective of her. And then Oliver immediately is like, no, both of you shut up! It's just funny.
You hear that?
Oh!
If you had simply waited for 5 more seconds like you were told, no one would have died.
We did the job. You owe me.
Really doubling, tripling down on all the clock stuff. Even more here on his desk, a lot more. Maybe, I think this might have been the pendulum one that we saw. Oh no, I think this was at a different angle, where the pendulum one was, but anyway.
The dead are owed nothing.
And yes, it's the hand of a clock that he kills him with.
Sarah, this is Sin.
Wait, do you two know each other?
No, we don't.
I do love that Sin couldn't resist giving Sarah a hug. It really strengthens the bond that those two characters have, considering you only get like 1 or 2 scenes with them before Sarah, leaves town the first time in League of Assassins.
Laurel's not coming.
Well, maybe she just needs time.
She had 6 years.
Yeah, I needed time too. When you got back, I was pretty harsh on you. When you and Sarah went off on your dad's boat, you're just a kid. Both of you were. I was out of line. You're not a killer, Oliver.
Finally putting that behind them.
Yeah.
They're getting dangerously close to hug territory.
I didn't think you'd be here.
Then don't throw parties in my home.
Damn.
Lance. I'll be right there. It's a homicide in the Glades, and CSU just pulled this out of a skell I know named Eddie Walzak. This morning, he and an accomplice were involved in a robbery homicide.
What'd they steal?
Court rep called it a skeleton key.
It was intended as a military tool to aid in code breaking on foreign intelligence targets. Felicity Smoke works at Queen Consolidated, and she said they were working on something similar, but Oliver Queen shut it down once he realized what it could be used for. It can be modified to open a bank vault.
Walzak's small time on a good day.
Walzak was just the muscle.
Plant your feet. Strong foundation equals stronger punch.
At least she's punching properly with her thumb on the inside of her fist like this. Because if you do this, then you could, injure your thumb, obviously. Obviously, same if you punch with your thumb inside, so she's at least practicing proper form. I don't get in fights or anything like that. That's the one thing I know.
This is for self-defense. I'd recommend Wing Chun. It uses your opponent's strength against him, so it's ideal for smaller people like us.
Seem like you can take care of yourself just fine.
What are you wearing?
I just thought whoever killed Walzak, in addition to finding creepy uses for clock parts, is very good at covering his tracks.
Lucky for us, uncovering tracks is what you're very good at.
This is actually a really good way to show Felicity's insecurity. The tech guy on these types of shows is often just the tech guy. The one example I can think of where the tech guy is more than the tech guy is Peter Gamby on Black Lightning. Although I guess Cisco does become Vibe, but he definitely did start out as just the tech guy. Since Felicity likes Oliver, she feels very insecure. She feels like she's really inferior to Sarah, and she really doesn't have to, but lucky for us, finding people is what you're good at, or whatever Oliver said. It's kind of... It's unintentionally dismissive. Felicity feels like it's dismissive. And I also think this episode really does a great job of strengthening the bond between Felicity and Sarah, of which there really isn't one. Sarah is more of just like, she's more has the bond with Oliver, so giving her another, like a small bond with another member of the team, I actually think that it's a really good idea. And since Felicity doesn't necessarily have the combat experience that Dig does, I think it's really interesting to give her that bond with Felicity as opposed to with Dig or with any other member of the team if there was another one.
He's barely alive. Do you have medical supplies in the fuselage?
We have some.
Just go. I'll be fine.
Family dinner. It's a chance to reconcile.
I don't want to reconcile with Sarah.
Me and your mom. I figured if we were all together as a family, maybe a reminder of how happy we were. Is it stupid?
I like that even though Laurel is pissed off at Sarah for that whole thing, I like that at least the thought of her parents getting back together is able to make her smile, even though she's perpetually pissed off right now. I really like that.
Tonight, tell everyone to be here. Your place is too small
And they don't have a set built for it.
No. Okay.
Aww. And I also like that even though Laurel, again, is perpetually pissed off at Sarah, I like that she's willing to try so that her parents can get back together. I really like that. It shows a lot of humility and humanity in Laurel. And those are some of the things she really needs to be likable. You can see here the skeleton key is being used to open this vault like Oliver said that it could.
Stop, get out of it. We still got 20 seconds.
No, you don't.
We've already gone.
I think I have an idea where. The skeleton key operates on an OFDM wireless signal. I'm picking up a transmission signal in the alley next to the bank.
But you won't be heading there.
He's hacked our transmission.
My associates may be headed to the alley, but the 940 bus from Crescent Circle is about to collide with the Starlight Freight Express.
By my calculations, you can't be in two places at once. He doesn't know there's two of us.
He didn't see Sarah come in on the cameras, he only saw Oliver, so by my calculations, you can't be in two places at once. He doesn't know Sarah's with him. That's so smart, actually. Damn, look at that shot! Clock King strikes twice. Interesting that the news knows that it's the same guy that did the robbery at Cord.
I haven't seen you at home all week.
I've been busy.
Yeah, it looks to me a whole lot like you're avoiding Mom.
He is not stupid, Oliver.
He hacked into our frequency, somehow gained remote access, but I upgraded our firewall. I can run that to the lab.
I spent a year on the freighter studying genetic blood anomalies. I've kind of know my way around a microscope.
That's convenient. The convenience isn't the point of this scene. The point of this scene is to, once again, reinforce how inferior Felicity feels to Sarah. Because, oh, Sarah can do this, and she can fight, and she's hot. It's sort of reinforcing that feeling of, well, shit, what do I bring to the team? I'm just the computer person. And again, I really like that. This is a great episode.
There's some significant cell damage and the platelet count is extremely low. McGregor's syndrome. It's terminal.
But this syndrome may give us a way to ID him. People with McGregor's are extremely rare, and people with McGregor's and a degree in computer science are even more rare.
Couple things to note about this list on screen here. One, Elle Park, possibly a reference to Linda Park, the girlfriend of Wally West, and I believe she's also a version of Dr. Light, or she's just the version of Dr. Light that's used for the Flash show. And two, the list actually repeats itself, but interestingly, the employee ID numbers are not the same, although Linda Parks and Jay Aldrich's are the same, and then some of the numbers, the rest of these are scrambled, but it looks like, just at a glance, G. Brown and S. Ambrell are the same, but you can see here Jay Aldrich, P. Penitas, G. Brown, those are the same as these three right here under William Tachman. The list actually repeats itself here, and looks like Tachman's the cutoff point.
What's the point? He'll be dead before he can spend all the money.
His sister, specifically, she's got cystic fibrosis and needs a lung transplant.
Aww.
Give me an address, please.
52 Nelson Way.
That's Tachman's ride.
Tachman's not here, just some device.
Whatever's in the truck's transmitting the same OFDM signal Tachman used at the bank.
Can you trace it?
It's leading back to our network. He's trying to break into our network.
Again. Yeah, there are some images of clocks mixed in there, but it's just a bunch of random images that are appearing on the screens.
You think no one can touch you in the safety of your hidey hole?
What the fuck? Yeah, okay, I finally see why people say hacking magic bullshit, because that's not a thing. I guess the implication is that he's, like, opening so many things or making the computers do so many things that they're overwhelmed enough to explode, but that's dumb. Hacking magic bullshit really is a trope of the CW, and you know what? I'm fine with it, personally, but it's still dumb. I'm cool with it, but it's dumb. I can acknowledge that it's dumb.
Talkman used a skeleton key to penetrate our firewall. He told our system to and it did.
Sarah stopped Talkman's men before they could get away with the cash. So Talkman is going to be looking for another score. Would you call Walter and have him liquidate 500,000 shares of QC stock?
Put it in cash in my vault at Starling National.
What can I do?
Go to your dinner. Family's probably waiting for you.
Little snappy from Felicity, but again, that's the point of the episode, is to sort of pit these two against each other in like a friendly sort of way. Maybe not a friendly way, but it's to pit Felicity against Sarah. I've said this a couple times at this point. People always talk about how Felicity is the main character of season 4, and to an extent, yeah, they're kind of right. But this episode really proves that doesn't now, nor did that ever have to be a bad thing. I actually really like this episode. I do like the secret origin of Felicity Smoke in season 3 as well. It's just season 4, man. Season 4 did some shit. And so it sort of gave everyone this air of like, everyone hates Felicity, and you're not allowed to like Felicity. You're allowed to like Felicity.
Will you go with me? It'd be helpful to not have to go alone.
I should probably stay here.
What is it exactly you think you can do here to help?
Wow, Felicity even snapping at Oliver. Okay, maybe snapping is not the right word, but, you know, the whole point of this episode, or at least this scene, is Felicity literally can't do anything. None of them can do anything, can get a lead on Talkman until Felicity gets the computers fixed or gets new computers. And so Felicity feels really hopeless. She feels down on herself, and she feels now like she can't do anything. And it's continually compounded throughout this episode as Sarah's the better fighter, Sarah can do this, Sarah can do that, and now the one thing that Felicity can do is taken away from her. And it's really good.
You know, it's not your fault, Felicity.
Which one of the rest of you put up the security safeguards? Maybe if it had been Sarah, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Now, I know we haven't talked about this, but it must be difficult for you seeing them together.
This isn't about them being together. Sarah can analyze blood. She can kick ass. She can do anything. Why do you even need me now that you have her?
Because you're irreplaceable, Felicity.
Aw, poor girl.
Laurel, Sarah's here.
Put the pills away, Laurel. First step to getting better from your addiction.
I don't remember your last name being Lance.
Well, yeah, I certainly didn't want to crash your family dinner, but then Sarah and I ran into each other, and she mentioned it.
Oliver.
Hey, Mr. Lance.
We're having pizza. I'm sorry, I had a little incident in the kitchen. I guess that's what happens when you haven't used an oven in 6 years.
Calling back to the flashback in the last episode.
Are you still teaching, Mrs. Lance?
At Central City University.
You could probably give him notice. Oh, Sarah's back.
I have a new life in Central City, and I have a wonderful job.
Well, there's jobs here.
Quentin, now you're pushing a little too hard. It would have been just the one line would have been good.
I have someone.
Congratulations.
At least Oliver has the good sense to congratulate her. That was a really inappropriate time to laugh, wasn't it? Fuck it, I'm keeping it in the video. I'm keeping it in.
You deserve to be happy.
Laurel, do not start a scene.
You've been back like, what, a week? And you're not even denying it.
Oliver is single!
I still need you in my life.
We've been through too much for it to be any other way.
Friends it is.
Laurel, please.
Daddy, you are no better than they are. I mean, what did you think? Mom was just gonna sit around and wait for you for 6 years? You fight yourselves out when you're done.
Why can't you all just behave yourselves?
Editor's note. Put the "why can't you all just behave yourselves" meme by M&J TV in this part of the video.
My daughter. I need to talk to her.
Your radio's broken.
Her mother died just after she got out of diapers. Cancer. I know I don't know you. I know you don't know me. Please make sure my daughter's okay.
You lecture me on how I need to repair my relationship with Sarah when you're the one who messed it up in the first place.
You're right. This is all my fault.
Yeah, yes it is.
And is you losing your job, doing drugs, being a drunk, is that my fault? Is that your family's fault, or are you gonna blame Tommy for dying?
My mic's not gonna pick that up, but I just went, sheesh.
I have stood by you through everything. The DUI, losing your job. Laura, I was concerned about your well-being when you were trying to get my mother the death penalty.
Yeah.
Do you think you're the only one that is having a hard time? You have no idea what is going on with my family right now. But I am still standing here.
Are you done?
Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done taking the blame. Did you go have a drink? Go to Verdun. I'll pay for it.
I'll pay for it, he says.
I have loved you for half my life, but I'm done running after you.
Oliver and Laurel was never gonna work! There is a large portion of the Arrow fan base that think Oliver and Laurel were going to be the end-all be-all. And I think with season 1, that was true. But here's the thing that you gotta know. Sometimes things from the comics get changed. Sometimes on shows like this, certain actors have more chemistry with certain actors than with other actors. And Stephen Amell has more chemistry with Katie Lotz, has more chemistry with Emily Bett Rickards than he ever did with Katie Cassidy. And that is why they changed things from the comics and made it so Oliver and Laurel were not going to be together. This scene really actually just proves that. Oliver and Laurel are never going to be able to make it work now because Laurel has a problem with everyone and everything and refuses to take any blame for anything. It's her core character flaw. Oh, but Laurel's the Black Canary in the comics. I don't care because it would have made a much worse show to have Oliver and Laurel keep chasing after each other when it was clearly never going to work, when they were doomed from the start. When they were doomed from the pilot, it was clearly never going to work out between them. Oliver blew the one chance that he had with Laurel 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when he took Sarah on the gambit with him. They were doomed. They were never going to work after that. And this arc about Laurel continually self-destructing, it goes to show that she, by her circumstances or by her choice, she turned herself into a very internally ugly person. She has a very ugly personality now. A very toxic personality now. Because she can never be wrong about anyone or anything, and she's emotionally abusing the people close to her, including her dad, who is just the sweetest dad on the planet. Seriously, Laurel does not deserve to have Quentin as a dad. Oliver has already put in the necessary amount of work to become a better person than he was. And by the end of this episode, yeah, Laurel does take that first step to officially becoming a better person. But Oliver already got there, and he does not need to wait for Laurel to do the same. Hell, he shouldn't wait for Laurel to do the same. I don't know. This is all just kind of a moot point. I don't know if I'm gonna put this in the video, but... Big Belly Burger!
Have you seen Felicity? I went to Big Belly to get some takeout. When I came back, she was gone. I haven't seen her for hours.
Talkman took the bait. I'm reading a signal at Starling National.
How do you know that?
Because I'm here. He fried our computer, so I'm using the banks to trace the skeleton key signature.
And jacket?
That was cold.
She's trying to be like Sarah. They even gave her the comics accurate black and yellow.
Talkman disabled the bank security system. I re-enabled it.
They're blocking our way out.
I'll deal with them.
At the moment, I'm particularly focused on the sub-level.
He shut down the gas main release.
Build-up could cause an explosion.
It will. It'll blow up 3 square blocks.
So dumb.
Talkman overplayed his hand. The gas main's in the city's network. That's where I live.
Am I supposed to understand that?
In trying to blow us up, he gave me a way to track him down.
That I understood.
And I love that in the final act of the episode, it's now Felicity and Sarah that are teaming up. Because they've been pitted against each other for the entire episode, so it's a nice, like, full circle moment. Maybe full circle is the wrong word, but still. I think they put some blood on the jacket here to signal that Felicity took a bullet. Also, the whole symbolism of Felicity was feeling inferior to Sarah this entire episode, and then she saves her life.
What the hell is that?
His cell phone.
Hacking magic bullshit indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Hacking magic bullshit indeed.
I uploaded the same virus he used in my cure in the Foundry. I didn't just kill him, did I?
Just knocked him out.
We did it.
You did it.
And I like that it's Sarah acknowledging to Felicity that she saved the day in this episode.
Are you sure you don't want to go to the hospital?
You guys never go to the hospital.
I wouldn't be here if you hadn't been so brave. Thank you.
I've always wanted to say I've taken a bullet for someone, and now I can. So really, I should be thanking you.
Aww.
Not bad, but you're still gonna have a scar.
My own scar.
Aww.
Yay.
That is a full circle moment, because they were all talking about their scars at the beginning of the episode, and now Felicity has one. I really like that. I do wish we got to see this scar, like, on her arm at least one more time, though, but, you know, we don't. And that really sucks.
Diggle had mentioned that maybe you were feeling a little left out.
I was just used to being your girl.
Aww.
You will always be my girl, Felicity.
Aww. That's so sweet.
I have to go home.
You can go. I'm not here to kill her or anything.
No, you're just here to bite her head off.
I'm not here for a drink or anything.
I realized that I went on that boat with you two. I've been slowly drowning for all of these years.
It's a good analogy, though.
Please don't hate me, Sarah.
She could never hate you. Oh, sister hug! Yay!
Didn't think anything could make you cry.
I just had a moment with my sister. Laurel's my big sister. I still have room for a little one.
Aww. Oh. And now we can see it's the picture. Oh, little Sin.
We're all gonna die here, just like him.
No, we're not. I think I found our way onto the freighter.
Parachutes. Fucking finally!
Thea texted me there was an emergency at the house.
No emergency. I'm in the middle of a meeting and Thea's not even here.
She's trying to force us to talk because she's sensing the tension between us.
Mrs. Queen, is everything okay?
I forgot about this! I somehow forgot about this!
Oliver, I'd like you to meet Slade Wilson.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Mr. Queen.
You can see that Oliver still has an inch or two on him, too, in this scene. Back in the Odyssey, it was just a height of the actors thing, but again, it was still that symbolism of Oliver looking down on him. And it's playing his theme, the Just gonna put it out there. This is probably my favorite episode of season 2. I just don't think I've been able to put into words why until now. I'm gonna start off by giving this plot a 4. Since this is a Felicity episode, I like that the villain is also good at what Felicity's good at. Even though she doesn't have a personal stake at stopping him, it reinforces the idea of Felicity being irreplaceable on Team Arrow, and also allows her expertise to shine through. Oliver has raw strength, Sarah has wicked assassin skills, and Dig has his wartime experience, but none of them are best suited to defeat a hacker like Felicity would be. This is one of the first and only episodes that it feels necessary for the main hero of a series, in this case Oliver, to have a team. Not only is Oliver not equipped to defeat a hacker, but they actually make a big deal about how Oliver can't be in 2 places at once. It even gets reinforced in the 3rd act of The Bank, where every team member is required to be there. Oliver has to make sure Talkman's guys don't escape with the money, Dig needs to make sure the gas mains don't cause a massive explosion that kills everyone, Felicity needs to find Talkman, and Sarah needs to take him down. Everyone actually feels like an integral part of the show instead of just expanding the team because there's a lot of actors paid to be on set. And it certainly makes more sense than Team Flash having Allegra and Cecile as field agents. I love how this season's continually made the Lance family still feel relevant through the inclusion of Sarah. And I feel that this episode more than any has been their strongest so far, Laurel's especially. This season's really shown that not only can it handle a main cast of 11 plus characters expertly, but also that it can treat the issues around the Lance family with the proper amount of seriousness and respect that they deserve. You could definitely wave this away as annoying family drama, but to do so would undercut a lot of the commentary on dysfunctional family relationships and toxic people. I'm glad this is something that wasn't left on the cutting room floor, because it shows that even though there's all this awfulness in the world, even though you can continue to make the easy decisions and lash out at the people close to you, you can always choose to improve your situation and be a better person. And this plotline perfectly connects with both the main themes of Season 1 and 2, that being choice. However, the fact that it's never acknowledged how the plane on the island was shot down, and the fact that it just so happens to show up when they need to get on the freighter, is a massive plot convenience in the flashbacks. It's just too random. And for that reason, the plot is going to have to settle for a very high 4. This is also the first instance of hacking magic bullshit on the CW, and since it's the first instance, I'm not going to dock points for it just yet. Characterization is an easy 5. As this is the Felicity-centric episode of the season, it's pretty obvious that she excels here. They really use the fact that Sarah is on the team full-time now to give Felicity this inferiority complex that works really well in the episode's favor. I really like that the field agents of Team Arrow compare their scars. It makes them feel a lot more like actual friends and a lot more human as a result. Talkman isn't necessarily the most complex antagonist, but I see him as being sort of akin to Joseph Falk from Salvation. A guy doing the wrong things for the right reasons. Hell, I bet that if he'd gotten what he wanted, if he was able to pay his sister's medical bills, he probably would have just walked away from crime. He's kinda akin to Ben 10 Ultimate Alien Albedo in that way. When he thought he accomplished his goal of getting his Galvan form back, he just went, peace, and was gonna leave Earth. And something about villains like that are just cool to me. And I'm so happy that Laurel finally listened to one of the people that gave her a reality check, and is working on self-improvement. For as much as I bash on Laurel every single video that I do, yes, I recognize the pattern, I do genuinely believe that not only did the writers really earn that moment between her and Sarah at the end of the episode, but also that this is her best episode in the whole show. I just know some people are going to disagree with that, because if you look at it a certain way, Oliver is responsible for everything wrong in Laurel's life. He took Sarah on the gambit with him, and from there she's had to deal with more shit than anybody ever deserves to. However, in the words of Charles R. Swindle, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. What's been happening to Laurel is horrible, and I get that. I never even said that she has no right to be angry. I even said that Laurel's response to her situation has been realistic in the very previous episode. But her situation isn't all that matters. Her reaction to her situation is a lot more important than the situation itself. And Laurel has been lashing out at everyone trying to help her, threatening to kick people out of her home, getting in everyone's... I thought I could make it one video without my phone going off. Getting in everyone's faces when they're just trying to make peace. So I don't even think Oliver was out of line in what he said. Him straight up saying, "I'm done caring" in this episode was exactly what she needed to realize that she was reacting to her situation poorly, and it set her on the right path going forward. She now realizes that she needs to help herself, because if she continues on the path she's on, there won't be anybody left to help her. And I already said my piece about the Oliver-Laurel relationship. Hell, even in the Season 2 premiere, Oliver acknowledges that he has no right to want a relationship with her after what he's done. The guy straight up says,
"There's no forgiveness for what I led Sarah into."
It doesn't matter if he still wants Laurel in his life. It doesn't matter how much Season 1 wanted to push the Oliver-Laurel envelope, because Oliver himself realizes that he doesn't deserve her. So he does the thing that normal humans do all the time and moves on. Will this be the last time I talk about this in this series? No. Do I want this to be the last time I talk about it in this series? Yes, absolutely. Also, very minor part of the episode, I like how we find out what happens to Sin's parents. She mentioned in Crucible that her parents probably wish she'd never been born, but in this episode we find out that her mom died of cancer and her dad died after his plane crashed on Lian Yu. She's completely wrong about her parents, and she doesn't even know it. I'm gonna give visuals a 3 here. Keen-eyed viewers may have noticed the pill bottle on Talkman's desk, or his coughing fits from the opening sequence, and thought that he was trying to save himself, using the money from the skeleton key. And while those details are notable, they're ultimately a red herring, as we see Talkman's real goal isn't to save himself, but to help his sister. But I do like that those details were included. I like Talkman's whole clock gimmick. I wish it was used more in the episode, since it just kind of gets thrown out after the first act, but it's got some novelty to seeing it. Honestly, I would have liked a more elaborate display of them around his setup if they really wanted to go all in on the Clock King persona. The rest of the episode looks just fine though. Though it is worth noting that Felicity's scar is on the opposite shoulder that Oliver's dragon tattoo is on, which further pushes the Oliver-Felicity relationship envelope. And also, I thought this face she made was really cute. Importance is where I'm gonna have to dock a lot of points because I can only justify giving this episode a 2. There's a lot to appreciate here, but in the grand scope of the season, everything except for the ending is ultimately inconsequential. If you're on a binge and you have space to throw a few more episodes in there, this is one that I would absolutely include. It really helps you believe the relationships of these characters more, but you could probably go without it. And while yes, Clock King does appear one more time in The Flash during the episode Power Outage, I wouldn't really say that it matters that he is the one that shows up specifically. I will give them some points for the Slade cliffhanger though. And I'll give entertainment a 4. In my book, this one's definitely a 5. It's one of my favorite episodes of the whole show, but I will admit that once you've seen it once, it doesn't have much rewatchability. While there are definitely details to spot, there's not as much as there is in The Odyssey. It's definitely an episode that you only need to see once. That gives Time of Death a score of 18 out of 25. For this being one of my favorite episodes of the whole show, especially my favorite episode of this season, that's probably not as high of a score as you might have expected, but 18 is still pretty respectable. Now let's get into the wrap-up. I don't have much to add for this episode, as I got all my thoughts on it out during the breakdown. I did something different with this episode, where I spliced in some clips of me during the editing process, as opposed to just talking about them in my rating segment. Let me know what you guys think about it. But anyway, that is it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you can join us as soon as freaking possible. And while I'm plugging everything else, be sure to click the bell so that you get notified whenever we upload one of these crappy videos. But apart from that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. This is Demigod Shmurda,